Namaskar and welcome to today's strategic management video lecture. Today, progressing with our strategic management process, we will look at the formulation of strategy. Before this, we have already completed establishing organizational intent and appraising the internal and external environment. In today's lecture, we are going to focus on the various types of grand strategies that are available for the companies to choose from. As we see here, the three major types of grand strategies are stability, growth strategies and retrenchment strategies. These three strategies are applied by or chosen by corporates or corporations depending on what situation, environmental situation they are in, what business situation they are in, and these strategies they call for different kinds of resource allocations, different actions taken. Coming to the stability strategy, it has three variants. These are three major variants. There are other variants also which are not discussed over here. The first one being no change strategy. Well, a stability strategy overall is required when the overall business environment is not very dynamic. It is relatively more or less stable. In such cases, where the organization doesn't, where the environment doesn't change a lot, where the threat of new entrants is minimum or no new players are coming to the market as of now, where the government is relatively stable, it has been selected for a few times, and the political ideology being stable, there are no major changes in the governing laws. There are no major supply shocks to the company. So, the company feels comfortable operating at a certain pace. It does not feel the need to grow at a very aggressive rate. So, it decides that we need to take a breather. We need to take a pause right now. We will do not get misled by this name, pause strategy. We will come to that later on. First of all, no change strategy is applied or adopted in an environment where the change is minimum, organizational objectives can be met or fulfilled with a minimum growth level that is achieved, that is being achieved by the organization at its present rate. Without much effort, an organization might wish to grow at 2% year on year, depending on the industry, of course. Some industries, if companies grow at 2%, even that is considered fast, while some other industries have known to grow at 10% and still they lag behind. Companies lag behind despite growing at 10%. So, a no change strategy basically means that a company does not have to be very aggressive in its approach, and it can take a relaxed approach towards growth. In the long term, however, it will maintain its leadership position. It does not have to invest a lot of resources on in the immediate present. So, no change strategy, it uses the same amount of resources that the company is presently devoting towards all of its activities, and it wishes to further continue this strategy without changing much. If it is growing at 7% per annum, it is fine. A no change strategy will dictate that you need to grow at this rate only without further growing without further being more aggressive. So, a no change strategy is basically required or used for companies which see no change, no sudden or dramatic changes in the economic environment, in the ecological environment, in the supplier environment, in the internal environment. So, that is no change strategy. But as a matter of fact, no change strategy cannot be adopted for a very long term. Every 3 years, there is a business cycle which will take an economy to a certain low, and from then on it will recover towards a certain crest. So, whenever this business cycle upheavals come through in an economy, companies will again need to change their approach towards business, and that is when profit strategy comes into picture. In a relatively stable environment, not absolutely as stable as the no change environment, but in a relatively stable environment, when the environment starts to or begins to show changes, in that case organizations will decide that we cannot sustain this growth anymore, we will have to grow faster or will have to slow down. Now, when from a stable condition the environment graduates into a dynamic condition, organizations normally do not wish to commit resources in more aggressive growth. So, whatever rate 2%, 1%, 7%, 10%, whatever rate the organization wishes to grow in a stable environment, the same cannot be pursued when the environment shows some dynamism. So, at this stage the organization will need to cut down some of its costs, will relax some of its activities, might even temporarily lay off people, because at this stage no permanent layoff or no permanent detachment, as we will come to retrenchment we will see, no permanent detachment of assets is done in the profit strategy. It is just temporary reductions, so that maybe the company will decide to postpone a certain expansion plan, maybe the company will decide to delay certain mega purchases or bulk purchases of raw materials, of stock, of equipment, of people. So, in that case the company will naturally tend to reduce its cost over a short period of time. The company will naturally tend to reduce its cost, thereby a certain nominal increase in profit will be. So, in effect the company has not grown, but due to cost reduction, due to unnecessary expenses, the company has managed to earn some profits. And what does the company achieve by becoming slower? If it was already slow, what does it achieve by becoming slower? If it was growing at a fast pace, what does it achieve by reducing the pace? Well, since the environment goes from stable to dynamic in a gradual way, the profit strategy basically offers the organization a cushion to tide over this dynamic phase or to tide over this transition phase. So, this cushion is of time, it gets a breather, it gets a head start, so to say, so that it can view its objectives, if need be it can revise its short term objectives and suit them according to the present dynamic environment. Again, if the environment continues to become dynamic, continues to be very dramatic changes are seen in the environment, then the organization might just like an army, wherein before the entire troops are mobilized towards a certain affected area, maybe a scout unit, a group of soldiers or reconnaissance equipment or reconnaissance vehicles might be sent to get a status report or to get a first hand experience or observation of that particular area before fully mobilizing the entire regiment. So, similarly for a business, when the environment becomes further dynamic, the organization will not hurry into it. Normally it is advised for the organization not to hurry into it, and it will further test this environment. This is where all those beta launches, test launches, they come into picture, where the organization with a minimum investment, with a minimum incremental investment launches new products, tests them, and if they are successful, then further they will plan commitments to go on and fully launch this product or full scale commercial launch of these products and services. That is the pause strategy. So, these three strategies or these three variants of the stability strategy are required when the environment is more or less stable. slight changes might occur, and these changes would be so incremental that the organization does not have to have any upheaval of its objectives over a long term. There might be short term changes and very minute or very incremental changes that the organization can easily adapt without making any major resource commitments nor cutting down any major assets or liabilities. Second type of corporate level strategy or grand strategies is that of growth. Growth is the most common strategy because no company wishes to remain in a certain cocoon, and it cannot afford to stay in a very safe place, because the environment overall throughout the world, economic scenario of the entire world is changing, is more changing and less stable. So, in changing environments, the organization must decide to grow, because if a business stops growing, it will ultimately wither down, and it will ultimately close down prematurely. So, to avoid that, the organization adopts a growth strategy. There are two major categories of growth. There are many such growth strategies in both of these categories, but majorly we can categorize them in two parts, that is internal growth and external growth. Internal growth is also called as organic growth. External growth is also called as inorganic growth. Well, as the name suggests, organic. Organic, some food is called as organic when no chemical fertilizers, no pesticides, no harmful outside agents, preservatives have been used to manufacture or to grow such crops or food. Similarly, for a business, if it is able to achieve growth by focusing on its own products, its existing customer bases, its existing markets, its existing technology, whatever exists with it already, it invests further in these capabilities that are inherent with it, and then further grows through higher revenues, through higher market share, through maybe geographical expansion into other territories. So, all of these approaches are the internal route to growth, whereas the external route to growth is called as inorganic, because the organization wishes to either take the help of a different company, partner with some other company, maybe buy out some other target company, do something in which outside agent is involved, outside enterprise, outside firm, outside entity is involved. So, organization is still achieving growth, maybe higher, maybe equal growth as organic, maybe lower, but it is not entirely based on its existing market share, existing products, existing geographies. It is taking the help of, or maybe it is helping some other partner, a second partner, an outside entity beyond itself, and which is why this kind of growth achieved will be called as external, because this entity exists outside its own domain, and that is also why it is called as organic growth, inorganic growth. The third one being retrenchment. Now, retrenchment comes from this word trench. Trench basically means an area or a drain or a pit that is dug to separate two areas. Maybe it's a line of demarcation, maybe you are trying to partition the land. So, trench basically separates, divides geography into smaller parts. So, retrenchment strategies also means or takes the same meaning out here, and means that some part of the organization is being detached from it. For example, in liquidation strategy, an organization decides to either sell off or get out of a certain part of its business. Maybe a function will be removed from the organization, maybe a product will be sold off, maybe a brand will be sold off, maybe the entire organization itself will be shut down. So, separation of an asset from the mother organization, that is retrenchment, and if it is sold off, if the business is shut down, then that case we will call it liquidation. Now, we will come to turnaround in the end, because liquidation and divestment are more related. Divesting is the opposite of investing. Investing is commitment of resources, maybe money, maybe time, maybe effort, maybe people. Divest means withdrawing those investments or getting out of certain businesses. You have invested, the business has invested some money in a certain sector, in a certain subsidiary, in a certain second party, or it could be the government also. The government might have invested some money in a company. Divesting basically means that money which has been invested in a certain entity, business entity, is withdrawn. We do not wish to conduct business anymore with that entity. We want to withdraw our investment. We want to have no part in any kind of business associated with a certain entity. That may be due to many reasons. Maybe sustained losses could be one reason. Maybe future prospects of the business doesn't look good, so that's why we are withdrawing at this moment, so that future losses might be avoided. So any reason might invite a divestment. Normally, all of retrenchment steps or all these variants of retrenchment are done only when the situation is not very nice. The organization doesn't hope to recover from such situations. That is when the options or strategies like divestment and liquidation are carried out. The third, in fact, the remaining strategy of turnaround in retrenchment is not necessarily a negative exercise. Basically, turning around a company involves preventing further losses to the company. The company has been sustaining losses for some time now, but it has not become so unhealthy that it needs to be liquidated, needs to be divested. The organization or the ownership believes that this particular unit or part of the business can be revived. So, it might invite an expert or a group of experts or a company who has expertise in reviving sick units, reviving loss making units, and this company or individual or group of individuals will be asked to turn around a certain part of a business. So, if the operation is successful, what will be the end result? The end result will be, the outcome will be that the company is reversed from a direction of losses into a direction of profits. Here no separation per se takes place, it is a kind of revival, but since it is taken during drastic times, because retrenchment is always taken when the need is dire, when no other recourse is left. That is why it is classified as a retrenchment activity, because it is a kind of last resort. If that doesn't work out, if a turnaround doesn't work out, which more often than not it does not work. So, when a turnaround does not work out, it might gradually degrade, the situation might gradually progress into a liquidation or the company divesting from the business. I hope the grand strategies or corporate level strategies are clear to you. We will meet again in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.